Hey, everybody, this is Daryl, aka The D from the Simply Incredible podcast. And today we have Origin Stories, episode one, the first one. So, if this is an epic success or an epic failure, we can point it right over here.
No! I hope not.
JoJo,
Hey, D,
how
how's
are
it
we
going?
doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for inviting me on here for the inaugural episode. That's awesome.
Yeah. Did you like the comic book I made?
Of course. That's great graphic artwork, and
It
I
was
love it.
it, it,
Love the
it was
effort.
mediocre at best, but I did my best.
That's awesome. I really like it. It's
Uh,
creative. Creative.
um, so everything going well?
Yeah, right now, luckily things are starting to slow down with work. It was pretty crazy like the past few weeks. But yeah, now I'm like ready to hop on here, have a nice chat with you. I'm
Mhm.
good. I'm good. Good
Excellent.
Saturday. How about you?
All's good. All's good. Sitting at home today, watching TV, playing video games, and all that good, boring stuff. um, okay, well, I'll explain origin stories so everyone knows. Origin stories is when a character in comic book world they're first introduced, and you get their backstory, and that's one of the things that I'm really interested in with the community is how did they get started? Because it's so much fun. And to me, not only do I learn about someone, but maybe I will find something that they like that I'm like, you know what, I need to look into that. So, oh, and everybody, our good friend Puff is here. What's up, Puff?
Hey. Uh,
So, Miss JoJo,
yes, sir.
what is your comic book origin story?
All right, for comics. So, as far as I can remember, well, I guess it started with my dad because my dad used to be a big collector of like trading cards and especially like the baseball cards and stuff like that, which I saw that you kind of showed earlier or your past video.
Yes,
You were
I.
showing a bunch of baseball cards, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, my dad was really into all that. He wasn't collecting comics, but he would take us to like some of the hobby shops and comic shops where they had the cards, and we would get like I remember getting the Batman Returns cards back then, and the little Marvel masterpiece cards and things like that. And because I recognized exactly, there you go.
I just happened to
Um,
get those the other day.
nice. Yeah, and I remember, I guess, gravitating to those because of the cartoons that were going on at the time. I was like, "Ooh, yeah, this is awesome." So I would collect those, but I remember one day, I still remember it was fourth grade. This girl was sitting next to me, and she pulled this comic out of her backpack, and she was kind of reading it like secretly as the class was going on, and I was like, what is that? And I was like kind of hunched over like looking at it too, and it was so awesome. And ever since then I was just hooked, and I asked my dad like, hey, can we go to the comic shop because that was awesome and I want more. And yeah, of course he was like thrilled. And so took me and my sister to the comic shop, and from then on, I was a Batman collector. But yeah,
See,
and
I knew there was a reason I wanted you to be on the first episode.
that.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh no worries. But yeah, Batman, and it's because of like the movies at the time and the cartoons, obviously that we would watch. So my sister, I remember we were actually talking about it, and we had this conversation in front of the bins. Like we were literally right there, and she was like, where do I start with this? Like, what do I do?" And I was like, I'm going for Batman. Who are you going for? And then she was like, Spider-Man. And so she started going like to the Spider-Man comics. I
Hmm.
was over in the Batman. So it's basically DC versus Marvel, like right there.
Right at the
From the
beginning.
get-go, we were like disagreeing on that. But yeah, she's very, I mean, for years she was a Spider-Man collector. She doesn't do it as much anymore, but she's still very interested in it. And yeah, and I just kept on with Batman, and up until recently, I started kind of dabbling into all these other things, and different even publishers and all that. Like before, it was mainly just DC. So And then I got really sucked into the Nightfall story arc. That was the one that got me. At the time, they were back issue bin fodder. So I was just really into that, and like all those like legends, and then shadow books as well. Like all the stuff you find for like 50 cents now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like,
Mhm.
yeah, my bread and butter back in the day. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I got started, and it was funny, coming because I took a break to, like, later on in when once I got to college, um, kinda stopped because I was, like, a broke college kid, and then I started up when I moved out here to Vegas because I didn't really have a social life out here, so I was like, "Well, what do I do?" And then I discovered eBay again, and like, because previous to that, I was only using eBay for like textbooks and stuff. And then I was like, what else do they have on here? And then that was like opening Pandora's box. So I just, yeah, I saw that they had like comics and all of these comics that, I didn't or weren't really available to me when I was a kid, or I didn't have the money for. Like, I was just going hard with all that, and like, just being able to read all the story now and not just getting like random issues was awesome. So
Mhm.
yeah, and that's kind of how I started out and where I am now.
It's great that you mentioned cartoons
Oh yeah. Oh
because I mean, back when I was a kid, I mean, way before you were a kid,
yeah.
it started with Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Oh yeah.
I love that animated series, and that kind of got a little bit the ball rolling.
Hmm.
But it really started rolling for me when Batman the Animated Series came around.
Oh yeah.
That's when my love affair with Harley Quinn began.
Nice. Yes. That show is incredible. Like,
Hmm.
it's crazy.
And it made me think of something I saw on a video of yours I just watched. Right beside that bookshelf is a Harley Quinn, looks like San Diego thing.
Yeah. Maybe I could take it off the wall here for you. Uh, hmm, yeah. So, ooh, don't drop it.
You're
There
full
we go.
screen.
Here you go. So this was a poster that I got at San Diego Comic-Con, and it's Terry Dodson signed it here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So beautiful. It's not like actual artwork, it's just a print, but
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was gorgeous, and he was a really nice guy. Really nice guy to chat with. Very humble, chill. Like,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah,
always been
that
a
is
fan of
so
his
cool.
stuff, so it was a pleasure meeting him.
Yeah, I
But
mean, for me, I didn't even realize that they were doing Batman the Animated Series comics back then. So
mhm.
it took me a long time to finally get that first appearance of Harley.
Yeah. Oh man. Dang it. I should have brought out my like childhood comics, but
Yeah.
one of them
But,
was my
but
animated series.
but I will tell you, with me, this comic is beautiful. It's
Oh yeah.
great.
Oh
It's
yeah.
awesome. I would I this one to me means by far the most.
Really?
Mad Love. This is the story that made me fall head over heels in love with Harley Quinn.
Oh, I
I was
mean,
a I was a 20-year-old kid, and it actually, and I hate to say it this way, but it actually taught me about abuse
mhm.
and why it's tough for some people to get out of it.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Definitely.
I fell in love with that story, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest story. I felt
Definitely.
so bad for Harley, and it's just ever since.
Yeah.
And that's why I've got so
Absolutely.
much Harley stuff all over the house.
I actually, since you mentioned Harley, I just got this one a few weeks back, maybe a couple months now, but this one,
Yep.
Um, I hadn't ever seen it in the wild, but this one's actually a second print.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was surprised to even see it, and it was pretty cheap for. I mean, lately they've been going like crazy, crazy.
Yeah,
So
I love that one.
yeah,
That
Alex.
that to me is just absolute beauty.
Mm-hmm.
By the
Yeah,
way,
Harley's.
Leonard is in the house also,
Hey, Leonard, good to see you.
and gosh, now a question I often have, and I'll just ask the way it is. When you first go into a comic book shop,
Hmm.
um, do they look past you because you're female? Like you don't know anything because you're a girl.
um, You know what? It's gotten a lot better, I will say, within the past like 2 years. But
Hmm.
when I was first getting back into comics, which was probably around 2014,
Hmm.
yeah, right around the time I moved here. Actually, a little earlier than that. So it was like 2012, I would say. Um, it was, yeah, it was pretty bad because I would go in with like my fiance, and obviously, he's not a collector at all. Like he doesn't
Yep.
care about comics, anything like that. He's more of like a PC gamer.
Hmm.
So, but he still likes going to the shops with me and stuff. So we'd go, and at the time I also had like very severe social anxiety too. I think that was part of why like it was weird for me going in too, not just because I had the social anxiety, but also like the guys that worked there, they just wouldn't talk to me. So a lot of times I would notice that whenever I had a question, I would go and ask them, but they would answer to my fiance and they just would not look at me.
Yep.
And I don't know why that is, but I guess they just felt awkward about it, or I don't know. And you know, for the most part now, though, like I said, it hasn't really happened as much. I think it's becoming more well known that like girls also read comics and it's
Yep.
not weird. So yeah, like actually the people here at some of my shops are awesome. Like they'll
Mhm.
chat it up with me and stuff. And
Yeah.
over time I've gotten over the social anxiety as well. So yeah.
The main reason I asked that question is because I've gone to many conventions. I see a lot of women collecting and stuff. My sister-in-law, a couple years ago, that's probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. She said, "You need to get out of those comics. You'll never find a girlfriend." I was like, "There's so many women that collect." She's like, "It's like, have you ever been to a shop? You ever been to a show?" She's like, "I don't need to." Like,
Exactly.
it's like, come
Yeah,
on, there's
no,
a ton of people.
there are definitely girls out there that do,
Yeah.
but I will say that, like, if you're like, for me at work, like, I'm not gonna find it there's one girl collector that I know of, but, like, the majority of people that I interact with at work, they aren't collectors, like, if they're girls or not, and
Hmm.
a lot of my friends aren't that I met in college, they're not. So, it is hard to kind of find like girls to do this with, like just chat
Hmm.
it up with. Now there's a lot of girls in the community, which I love. That's awesome. But
Hmm.
I think it's just evolving slowly, and they're slowly starting to realize, like, okay,
Hmm.
like I can jump into this community without feeling weird. And it's just a testament to the community itself. Like we're very welcoming here and
Yeah.
like nobody is trying to put down girls here. So, because believe it or not, people do think that like if it's a male dominated kind of place, it's like, oh, it's a little intimidating to go into that, when you're just the only girl. But it's really not like that. Like everyone's super nice and super friendly and it's not weird at all. So I just hope more and more girls realize that.
My good friend Bonafide, I feel like I sell to younger girls more than I sell to younger boys now. That is great. I
Wow,
think that is great to hear.
that is.
When
But
I
yeah,
last,
definitely getting better for sure. And I love that.
when we last had an LCS in my town, which has been almost 2 years ago now, I talked to one of the guys and I asked him that same question: Is there like what percentage are boys to girls that come in? Because it's
Mhm.
actually right after my sister-in-law asked that question, and he said I probably see 60% guys, 40% girls.
That's really
And,
good.
and I thought that was great.
That's really
And apparently wasn't enough to keep the doors open.
oh, yeah, that sucks. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
no, but back then it was very obvious. I was
mhm.
like, oh man, this is really weird. But I was also socially awkward too. So that could have made it worse.
Yeah, yeah. Like we used to have a baseball card shop back in the day, and
Mhm.
never saw women in there. And I kind of think that's my sister-in-law's mentality was, is they don't collect,
Uh-huh.
not just comics or cards, but they
Period.
just don't collect.
Exactly.
I was like,
I
yeah,
agree to that.
they do. Trust me, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the I know you're very smart about it, but the lady that I know that's extremely intelligent is Lady Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm just like, holy cow, she's got so much knowledge.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
mind blowing.
Yeah, it's awesome, you know?
Mhm.
It's really cool to
All
see
right,
that.
San Diego. How many times have you been? How long did it take you to get
Oh
badges?
God. So this is almost embarrassing. So I started trying, I want to say in 2015 or 2016, right around the time I got back into it.
Hmm.
And it was just strikeout after strikeout until 2018.
Yep.
And I finally got in and I was like jumping up and down, running around my house like, heck yeah, I got it. It was me and my friend, and you know, you have to like wake up early and do the whole thing, and it's such a hassle, but once you get it, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And
All right.
yeah,
Did you get it or did someone else actually get it?
I got it. I got lucky and I ended up with 2 days. I think it was like they were like the crappiest days, but it was still good. It was like Thursday and Sunday.
I was going to say, those are the
Yeah.
2 days I would have guessed.
Yeah, and I was like, "Well, you know what? I'm still in, and that means that it'll be easier next time." So we
Hmm.
went and we had a good time, but I was kind of overwhelmed with a lot of things. I
That was
mean,
my first trip.
yeah, starting with like the crowds and the lines, and it's just if you don't go in with like almost like a schedule or a plan
You have
for
to have
what
a
you're
plan.
yeah, you have to. There's just no I mean, you can kind of wing it if you don't care and you just wanna see everything.
Yeah.
Like, you can just walk around and that's fine, but
Hmm.
if you wanna do a specific thing, you have to coordinate because there are other things you might be missing, and it's like, "Oh." So, yeah, at first it was kind of I don't know, like it was a bittersweet thing because I was frustrated with that fact that like oh my god, like I'm missing this, but I really want this signature. And like it's just you have to really know the layout too and not get
Hmm.
lost. And the whole hotel situation as well is kind of weird. Luckily my friend lives out there, so I didn't have to experience all that.
Ah,
So
that
yeah.
is so much money that I had to spend.
Exactly, and I was like, very grateful for my friend. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love you so much." And, yeah, no, she's a high school friend. She's, like, one of the few actually girls, my, like, personal friends that is into this stuff too. So that's really nice. I'm lucky about that. But yeah, we both went and it was great. Like overall it was great, but I was like, wow, next year I really have to like plan this thing because it can get crazy.
Yep.
How about you? How was your first
All right.
experience?
It took me and one of my friends, it took us 5 years to get the passes. And
Mm,
I remember I was sitting there, you see the days starting to sell out.
hmm.
And you see Sunday is low. Wednesday's already sold out. Or excuse me, Saturday. Saturday's starting to run low. We're like, we're not getting them. My
Hmm.
screen changed. I was confused for about 10 seconds. I was like, what happened to my screen?
Yeah, that's how I was
And I'm like,
too. And
Josh,
yeah, you're
Josh,
just like, oh
Josh,
god, oh
we're
god.
in. Josh, we're in.
Exactly.
And the first year we got Thursday through Sunday.
Hmm.
The second year, no one wanted to go with me. So I'm going by myself then. I got
Oh, yeah.
all 5 days.
It's funny because, like, even though I go with my friend, we split off when we get there because
Hmm.
she has different interests than I do. So
Yeah.
she likes to go into the panels a lot, you know? And that's something I like if they're smaller, but if they're like the crazy big ones at what is it, H Hall or whatever it is,
Hmm.
I tend to not do those because I'm a sucker for like going and meeting the comic creators and she's not as much into that stuff.
Yep.
And so yeah, we split off. So it feels like I'm just on my own the whole time too. So if there's nothing wrong with that, it's actually more
Yeah.
efficient that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you
like for
have
me, I'll stay on the floor the whole time.
me too. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
just
I will have 2 days set just for Artist Alley.
Hmm.
I mean, people don't understand. Just about any artist is there.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome.
I mean,
Like,
if you go to DC or IDW in particular, they have lots of people that will sign autographs.
so when was your first year?
It was 17,
Okay,
2017.
cool. Cool, cool. So have you been able to meet everyone so far? Or there's
I mean,
still
there's
people
there's some like Jim Lee. I've not been able to meet him.
there? Yeah. I still need to
Um,
meet him and
I
Jock.
think that's really the biggest one that I've really wanted to meet. Last year, well, not last year. There was none last year, but the year before that, meeting Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, that was big for me because of the Harley stuff.
Oh yeah.
Paul Denny, I want to meet him because
Nice.
of the original Harley stuff. I'm not getting to meet him, but
What
like this
was
book is it at this one?
uh-huh.
This one, yeah, it's
Let's
this one.
see.
It's Harley Goes to Comic Con.
Yeah.
Like the front and back cover are completely signed
Oh, that's so
with autographs
cool.
from people I met that year.
That's awesome. And they're so like most of them are easily accessible, except your Jim Lee or
Yeah,
who's the other one? McFarlane.
McFarlane.
And there's a couple more. Alex Ross. Those are a little harder to get.
Well, Ross,
But
he's never there.
yeah, that's
That
what I
makes it really
saw.
tough to meet him.
It was. Yeah. I haven't met him either. I haven't really I need Jock still too. And
Jock, he
Steranko.
was at DC last year, and I missed him.
Yeah. Steranko's another one I really want.
I hear good and bad things about Steranko.
No. Oh, we were talking about it last time, right?
I think
I was like,
so.
"Ooh."
Yeah,
Yeah.
he likes the ladies.
Mhm. Be like, hey,
Just don't get
do a
too
little,
close. You're fine.
do a little remark first, like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
but
I get that a lot. I mean, it is jam packed in there.
it is, and the security, like, there's no. I think my main gripe with it is that there's so many people, but there's not as many areas to sit unless you leave the floor. It's
Yeah, I
like
mean, I always go out to that front, that
the front,
entrance,
yeah.
and you just sit on the floor there.
Yeah, but if you're in an area where it's like behind the door, like they won't let you sit there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they're constantly like, "Nope, you gotta move, you gotta
I
move."
mean
Like,
that's the fire hazard. So yeah,
yeah,
I get it, but at the same time, there's no one around.
exactly. I don't know.
I mean, I always go out there and sit right there in front of where everyone takes the photos.
Hmm.
Do you know where the cosplayers are?
I was talking to my friend about that too, because I always expected there to be a bunch of cosplay there.
Yeah,
And I really didn't see too much last time. They hang out like where you're saying in the entrance, like
yeah.
um some of them hang out there and like right outside because it's more spacious for them because a lot of times they have like all their equipment and stuff whatever they put
Hmm.
on, um and so they don't always walk around the exhibition floor because they don't have the space really because everything's so crowded.
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, I didn't see too much
Because
of that.
the first year I went, 2017. I remember when I got home, I looked at some of the San Diego pictures, and there was this one shot. You know that kind of between two buildings, there's that long big staircase.
Hmm.
Almost that entire staircase was full of cosplayers. I'm like, where were those people?
Actually, come to think of it, there was
I know they
some.
had the masquerade ball,
Yeah.
but that's was that Saturday night, I
Yeah,
think,
that's
or
like
something like
separate.
that. But
Yeah, I did see some. There's like a little area where they have like the background where you could take pictures, and it says like it has the little Comic Con logos all
yeah,
over it. And there was some cosplay there, but
mhm.
it's very scattered, and I don't know. Yeah, we were surprised to see that there weren't very much there. There was actually more here at the Las Vegas con.
Mhm.
They go all out here for
Like I got a Heroes Con in Charlotte. We go there every year, and it's usually got a ton of cosplayers also.
yeah. I guess because there's more room. I don't know. I don't know.
We're just
But
looking at some of the comments.
doesn't it feel
Uh,
though we're outgrowing San Diego, though.
I've heard that many times. I've heard they
Yeah.
were talking about moving it to Las Vegas.
I know. That's what I want. Oh man, I hope it comes out here.
Yeah, I was like, I love San Diego. I love the atmosphere there.
Uh-huh.
The only thing I don't like, and it's sad, is so many homeless people.
Yes, I
It's
know.
this
Yeah.
past year, in 2000, I guess it was 18, 2019 now. You know where the USS Midway is?
Mm-hmm.
Like right across the street from that is
Right.
the hotel
Yeah.
I was staying in.
Okay.
And I could just go out the back door and just walk over there. It was a little over a mile and
Yeah.
walk to the con. And I
I
was like,
used to live near like 2 hours from San Diego, and I used to go all the time. So yeah, I'm pretty familiar with that area.
yeah,
But yeah, it's you're right. It's nice in that area for sure. I think I like that, the little marinas right there. It's like nice, but I don't know. I would like to see it come over here.
I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't.
It
I love that nice walk. I love that. I mean, I've never been to Vegas, so I
is
can't
really
say,
hot though during that time, so they'd have to
yeah,
move it to a different, I don't know, different time in the
have to
year.
move it in early spring
Yeah,
or like October.
but yeah, I mean the strip got a
Yeah,
lot of hotel rooms.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they are built for things like that.
Uh, hmm.
Lots and lots of hotels.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was really bummed about not being able to go this year, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I still got my badges for next year.
Yeah.
See,
See.
I think I got next year Thursday through Sunday. Well, this year actually. Now it's this year.
Well, this year I was actually bummed too because I was able to get the professional badge. So I was able to
Um,
get all of the days until they said it was all canceled. So it's like the 1 year.
like son of a biscuit.
Yeah, whatever. Uh,
Oh, I mean, I 100% agree with this. Yeah, the weather's perfect.
it is. It is great weather.
Oh, like last year when I went, someone said it sure is hot here. It was like 75 degrees. I was like,
Well, you're in Florida, right?
I'm from Virginia.
Oh, okay. I thought you were in Florida for some reason.
No, everyone else is from Florida,
Yeah, okay.
and I was like, on that exact day, it was 101 in
Uh-huh.
Virginia.
Oh my god.
I was
Yeah,
like, they're living in a sun, and you're complaining about being 75 degrees. I
it
was like,
gets
oh my
pretty
gosh,
gnarly. Yeah, it gets pretty gnarly out here too.
that cracked me up.
But we get that
Um,
dry heat.
so let's go forward a little bit to your job, a
Sure.
passion of mine as well.
Yes. UFC, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
UFC.
Yes. So, I guess that's what kind of what brought me to Vegas. So it was actually my fiance that brought me to Vegas because originally, I was working out in California, SoCal, um, and I had just graduated with a film degree, and then I was like, what do I do? Like, I don't know exactly what I want to do in film. And one of the classes that I took was an editing class, and it seemed fun. So I was like, and it seemed like one of the most practical ways to actually like, get your foot in the door with like video or film. I was seeing a lot of job openings for that once I graduated. So I started out as an assistant. And at first it was really rough actually, because we were still experiencing, some of the effects of the economy crash. So it was hard getting a job. I was doing like I think I was doing like two or three internships. Two were unpaid, and I was commuting like an hour. So it was rough times. And it was a lot of competition. Obviously, a lot of people in that area want to
Mhm.
get into film. And like I said, editing is one of the most practical ways to get into it. So, as long as you can like get your own computer and programs, then you're set, and you can just start practicing.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I just started kind of building my resume for a while, and I ended up getting a job at, it's called Budo Videos, and they sold a lot of like tutorial DVDs for like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, any of the martial arts really. And so we were also producing some of their content for like, the World's tournaments. Um, Out in Long Beach, they would do like Brazilian Jiu Jitsu tournaments, and we would go and be in charge of the production for those. And then we would put them on DVDs and would sell them. So that's kind of where I got my start, like with a real job and like actually doing more production in the live aspect, but also in post production. So I was a PA, and I would go to the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu tournaments, and we actually interviewed Ronda Rousey one time too there. Actually, she was in the crowd, and that was pretty cool. But
Hmm.
I didn't really know too much about like MMA at the time. I knew of it, but I wasn't following it or anything. And I just knew that a lot of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters slash athletes would graduate to MMA eventually, and
Yep.
we were losing them to MMA. And I remember some of the like my boss and stuff would always complain about that. It's like, why do you want to go to MMA? You're doing so well, BJJ.
Yeah.
So, but like it's not. I mean, it's good for them to graduate to that, but so yeah, I had heard of mixed martial arts, but never really looked into it. Then I switched my job. I went to the esports world, and I started doing assistant editing for their tournaments and like all the, video game stuff. And that was fun. I didn't even know about that world either. So it was kind of eye opening to me. But
I don't
that
think a
job
lot of people really know about how huge
was
the
huge.
esports is.
It's
It's
insane.
insane.
And it's international too. So it's like crazy. You got crazy stars, um, especially now with Twitch and everything. Um, but yeah, was deep into the esports world. That's where I met my fiance. He was actually a commentator, and he used to be a pro player. And so, yeah, we got along, and obviously we ended up together. And then he got an opportunity out here in Vegas. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to leave the LA area. So we were a little at odds there, but I was like, you know what? I'm still young. It's only Vegas. It's 3 hours away.
It's quite a commute.
Oh no, like we were going to move out there. We weren't going to
Mhm.
commute. So, it was kind of a big deal, but I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? I'll just move back if it doesn't work out. And yeah, came out here, applied to several jobs, and was actually getting like callbacks from places. So I was happy. But yeah, one of them was UFC, and I was like, whoa, cool. And what was funny was that I had actually applied to the UFC right after my job with Budo Videos, the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu place, because I thought it was an easy kind of graduation to, martial or mixed martial arts. But they never called me back then. But then I got a little more experience under my belt, and then they called me later. So that's
That's
how I
awesome.
ended up here.
That is so awesome.
Yeah,
Now
kind of crazy.
you so I remember on Puff's channel you kind of mentioned this. Well, actually, you said the whole thing. But my question was then, did you ever train any?
No.
To this day, still.
To this day, no. I could probably, if I really wanted to, I could probably kick some ass.
By
I've just
osmosis.
Yeah, because I've studied it so long. Like I've literally watched 8 hours a day of it, and I know the moves. I've just never practiced
Oh,
it.
well,
Oh.
I've got my black belt on the wall over there, and I'm just. She's like, I watched a few videos. I can kick your ass.
No, no, yeah, it's like hours and hours of
Yeah.
seeing it. It's kind of hard not to know how to do things after that long. Um,
I
But
would
yeah.
assume that you would have like an open door almost to, which is probably a bad assumption on my part, to many schools in that area. You're like,
Um
hey, I know this guy named Dana. Can I come play?
yeah, yeah, but I mean, that's a lot of dedication. That's a lot of time and dedication.
Hmm.
And I guess right now I'm putting more of my efforts into like the video aspects of things. So I mean, I don't know, because to me, like my fiance does train, or he used to train. He was doing judo for a long time, and then
Hmm.
he started BJJ later on, and it was like it's one of those sports. I don't know. Maybe you'll agree. I just feel like with any martial arts, it's so competitive that you reach a point where you almost need to do tournaments, because you can train and train, but I don't know, at least for me, I feel like if I were to start training, I would have to go all in with it. And I would want to do tournaments and stuff.
It's funny. I never had an interest in them.
No?
To this day, I still don't.
Oh, well, that's good.
And and
Andre and
um,
I are
and
not.
I will tell you what, I was more of a stand up than a grappler. I like
Mm.
grappling. I never liked having sweaty people all over me.
Ugh,
I
yeah.
got to be pretty good at it, but it
Yeah.
just being small. And another big thing is like the white belts that first come in, especially if they don't know much,
Hmm.
higher ranked person, they're going to throw you all over the place.
Yeah.
And for me, it was all I could do not to just rip an arm off.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know anything. I could just take your back and choke you unconscious, even if you are tapping. But I'm not going to.
Yeah. Um,
And
it
that's
takes
actually what kind of got me out of the grappling portion of it.
it takes a toll on your body too, depending how
Yes,
often, how long you train for
yeah.
sure. So
Uh,
yeah, I
but the stand up, to this day, I love just hitting pads.
mhm. Well,
Knees,
that's cool
elbows,
then.
punches, kicks.
I feel like
Boxing bores me.
I like boxing. Obviously all of what I'm saying is just from me being a spectator. I don't
Hmm.
really train it, but I love I love watching BJJ like when it's done right and when the
Yeah,
matchups are great. It's amazing.
yeah. I will totally
Um
agree.
yeah, a lot of this I mean, yeah, a lot of the stand-ups pretty cool too. I mean, if you get a good boxer, it's fun to watch, but sometimes when especially in MMA, it's like when someone doesn't really know their stuff, you could tell right away, It's
Yep.
like, oh dang, they gotta sharpen up on their stand up
uh,
or whatever.
I'm not mentioning any names. CM Punk. I'm not going to mention any names.
Oh my god.
I'm just
CM Punk.
saying. I love CM Punk as a professional wrestler. MMA guy, not so much.
Yikes. Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
But when I'm talking about boxing, I'm talking about as participating in boxing. I'm just
okay.
like, that's all
It's
I'm doing.
boring.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
Block. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
come on.
mean,
Let me
even
throw some
watching
knees.
it,
Let me throw some elbows.
I
Let
feel
me
like
go in for a takedown.
unless the matchup's really good, I feel like sometimes it can be pretty boring too, watching it.
Okay. And I
Yeah.
will say, who was it that Connor fought, boxed?
Oh, Mayweather.
Mayweather. Mayweather.
Yeah.
That was actually entertaining, even though I
It
didn't.
was. It was. It was. I feel like he fell right into Mayweather's trap though
Oh
by
yeah,
the end of it. But he was able to stand for a little while.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
honestly, I think Mayweather, his plan was is like, I just go wear him out. Then he got hit a couple of times. He's like, no.
yeah. Hmm. And then it felt like McGregor was trying to pull a guillotine at some points too. I was like, "What are you doing?"
I told one of my friends when that fight was announced, I was like, Connor just needs to go out there, touch gloves, throw a kick to his head. Don't hit him. Don't hit him because then you're getting the
So
fight's over.
you're
Make him
creating space.
think.
You're creating space.
Yeah, make him think that's a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
And I
That's
was
funny.
like, that'll do it.
Yeah, that was wild though. I heard recently that Mayweather is gonna fight that YouTuber dude. What's his
Oh
name?
yeah, I saw that. The guy that
Yeah,
knocked out the basketball player,
I always forget his name. They're
Aaron
the
Paul.
brothers.
Aaron
Oh
Paul.
yeah, oh yeah, or whatever.
And I was like, why?
Why exactly?
I mean, I know Mayweather's about the money. I don't
I
see the
guess
money in that fight, but
I don't know. I
the
don't know.
spectacle is there.
Ooh, I don't want to watch that. But
It's a
yeah,
spectacle.
definitely. Um, so when did you get into training?
Oh, I'm old, remember? I started in 2000.
Hmm.
I was doing kidney dialysis at the time. So I had a kidney transplant since then. So I was lazy and I had no motivation. My joints actually started going bad because of lack of use, my muscles and everything. So I started going to physical therapy, and I met a couple of guys that were working out. Then after a while, I started getting stronger. So wait, let me click this one here right quick, too. Hey, JoJo.
Hey, what's up, Pages?
So after that, I was like, well, two of the guys that I was working out with at the physical therapy place, they quit. They got done with their physical therapy. So I was like, I'll go to Gold's Gym. And in their fitness room, I was like, I need to do something for cardio. They had the step class, they had the dance class, they had an ab class, which I'm telling you is the most brutal class I've ever taken.
Oh,
30
dang.
minutes of abs is absolutely pain.
Yeah.
But then I saw some guys come in. I saw some guys doing some kickboxing. I was like, wait a minute now.
That's
We
cool.
might have something.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, they were doing jujitsu. I was
Nice.
like, oh yeah, I can try this.
That's cool.
And I got hooked. I got hooked on it.
Dang.
I remember going in there about 6 months after I started. They looked at me and go, I can't believe you're still here. We were pretty much betting you'd be gone after the first week.
Oh wow! You're like,
I mean, after you see people come and go a lot, you know who's going to be there and who's not.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I mean, every once in a while, you'll say, "Oh, that person's going to be around in 3 years," and they're gone in the first week, and vice versa.
Yeah, it happens. And then, like I said, sometimes life just gets in the way. Like Andre, my fiance, was really into judo and BJJ, and he was getting pretty good at it. And the thing is, like, he's like what I was telling you, where he's just so competitive. So he just wanted to keep doing. Like there were times when he was just going like twice a day, and he was like ready to do tournaments and stuff. And he's like, you know what, I have to dial it back because I just can't focus my whole life on that, and it just gets to be like that and I know I would be the same way. Like if I just feel like I would need to, especially now that I'm working for UFC, I see how competitive those fighters are and like the level that they get to. And I'm just like, I would want to aspire to that for sure.
Okay. Well, I also say this about when I was training. Again, it was in 2000 when I first started. The first tournament anybody that was at our school went to was in 2001. Mm-hmm. It was in Charlotte. It was called the Dale Jr. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Tournament.
Okay.
Yes, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the NASCAR driver, was one of the sponsors. It was sponsored by Budweiser because he was driving Budweiser back then. Oh. And so we went down to that. But as far as actual fight, like every weekend fights and stuff, every weekend jiu-jitsu tournaments, they just weren't there back then.
Oh.
That didn't start until around here anyway, until about 2005, 2006.
Yeah, that was right around the time.
And that's when I actually got my black belt at that time. And at that point, I'm just like, I just want to train. I want to teach.
Yeah.
I don't want to compete.
Yeah.
I compete. Okay. I did compete in one jiu-jitsu tournament.
Oh yeah. How'd it go?
I legitimately may have the record for fastest tap out.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah. He tapped me out in less than 3 seconds.
Oh, he tapped you out.
I mean, it was in the, any level division. Again, I was a blue belt. He was a black belt. It was no gi. He faked a shot, and I went to stop him. Flying armbar.
Oh, snap. It must have looked cool, though, at least.
Yeah, I look cool tapping on the way down. And it was really funny because it was the first event of the entire tournament. Everybody that was in the building was looking at that mat.
Oh my God.
Tip the cap. Thank you very much.
You're welcome for the taping.
I hope you got the whole match.
That's funny.
But and it wasn't that made me stop. It was just I just didn't have the passion for competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's understandable. And you were doing it for health reasons too.
Yeah, so. I was doing it for cardio, and my brother would say mixed martial arts was the worst thing ever for me because I went from being a shy, quiet guy to someone who will not shut up. So I will say that is a huge positive. If you want to break out of that shell even more, there you go.
Interesting. Is it because you got chattier because you were like talking crap or what?
Maybe. I am quite the trash talker, no doubt about it.
See, okay. That's something I love about UFC too and MMA. Like, I know there are a lot of fighters that just look down on that and like what McGregor was doing when he first started, what Rousey was doing. But I just think that's awesome. Like, I love that. It makes everything more interesting. Like, I think they go overboard sometimes, like Kobe Covington.
See, that's the issue I have when they go too far.
They go too far sometimes, for sure.
All right, who's somebody in particular that you go, I love when they're talking?
Recently, there hasn't been too many that I feel have been like that.
I mean, I love when Connor talks.
I love it when he talks too, but he's also gotten to that point. He's better now, but like with the whole Dolly incident,
that to me was disgusting.
That was atrocious.
I mean, right then and there, I would have been like, "You're fired. Get out. That's it. You're done."
Like, I wasn't a fan of all that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, poor Rose. She was right there in where she got the glass on her. I was like, dude.
Yeah, a lot of
Rose could have gotten hit.
A lot of the glass got in some of the fighters' eyes, and they couldn't fight at that time. So I didn't like seeing all that. So that's why. But I do like hearing him speak.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? I always liked hearing Ronda speak too. Those are like my main two that were really good. But
see, I liked Ronda at the beginning of her career, but as she got further on, I didn't like. I know some of the trash talking is kind of made up and played up, but some of the times I'm like, yeah, you're going a little too far there.
Yes, I agree for sure.
But for me, it was the original for me, the original bad boy, Tito Ortiz.
Oh, Tito, yeah.
I mean, he's an idiot. He is. But I mean, back in the day, I loved hearing him talk.
Yeah. How about Sonnen?
Huh?
How about Sonnen?
Oh yes, I watch his videos all the time.
Yeah, he's good.
Uncle Chael.
Yeah, he's hilarious too.
I love. As much as I love Tito, I love to hear Chael talks about how dumb Tito is.
It's so funny. Yeah. Stuff like that. It's like, I love it. I love it. But yeah, currently though, it's hard. I can't think of someone off the top of my head that's like a good speaker like that, you know? That's what we're missing right now, I think.
Yeah.
Someone like that. Because even like Holloway tries to do it, but it's not really. And then even right now with the whole McGregor Poirier thing, Poirier doesn't. So he used to, like, him and McGregor had some beef back then, but Poirier's kind of like since then has, I don't know, dropped it and just doesn't really do that anymore. I guess he feels like he doesn't need to, which is fine, but it just, I don't know, it just makes it fun sometimes.
Yeah. Speaking of talkers, we kind of mentioned this one off. Well, was it off air? Or it might have been on the last podcast, but Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
Fan? No fan.
It's
again, you know what? If you're not a fan, you're not allowed to answer that because I don't want you to have any job issues.
Oh no, I think technically he's a freelancer, so I don't think it would be an issue. But like, I I'm back and forth with him. I like him as a personality. I think he's really cool. I think he's super knowledgeable, and I like the personality that he brings to the broadcasts. I like. I used to like watching his podcast, but I feel like if you watch all of them, you kind of know what he's going to say already. Like he kind of becomes a parrot after a while. So um, it's like, okay,
It's
I get
funny. His
your humor.
podcast is the reason I actually started liking him.
Yeah, I used to really like it, and then I kind of started realizing like, okay, I know what he's going to say, and it was kind of pointless. Like unless it's a good guest that he has that I really am interested in, then I will watch
Mhm.
it. But I'll never hate. I'll never hate on Rogan. Like I think he's done so much for the sport.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, back in the early days when he first started, I could give you the perfect impersonation of him.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Wow. There you go. That was his entire commentary for just about every single fight.
Oh my god. Yeah.
He was
Well,
like, he throws, wow, dude, stop it. You sound like a dude in the bar. You don't sound like an announcer.
oh my god, it's hilarious. Well, like lately, I don't know if this is the reason, but sometimes he's gotten a little better, but sometimes you can kind of tell who he's going for.
Oh
Like
gosh,
he's
yes,
super biased
yes,
sometimes. I'm like, dude, can you make it more obvious?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that in all sports. Like some announcers is like they are actively cheering for a team or an athlete or something. It's like, dude, come on, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. But yeah, as a personality, I really do like him. I think he's
Hmm.
cool.
What
How
about
about
Cormier? I don't know if you know
Cormier?
him or I mean personally or anything
Actually,
like that.
I actually was on set with him a couple of times. So
Oh, that's
he's
awesome.
super cool, like super nice. I think in terms of him doing the commentating, I think he's good, but it was a little off at first because I think he would try too hard to kind of bring more personality into it when sometimes all you need is like to do the play by play, like kind of just tell
Hmm.
us what's happening. But he would really like try hard to make it, I don't know, sound more personal. And
Hmm.
so he would give us a lot of anecdotes that weren't really like necessary.
Yes.
So I'd be like,
It's
ah,
funny. They would do that. I'm like, what? Where did that
what
come
is he
from?
talking about? Yeah, yeah. It was a lot of those moments. Like one time I remember he was introing, it was during the Poirier walk-in, and they're both from Louisiana. So he was like, oh, this guy's awesome. He started talking about, I think it was Poirier, how they both just like love Game of Thrones. And I'm like, why are we talking about this right now? And it would make it hard for the editors to be like, all right, I need a bite from here, and I can't. And then he's just talking about Game of Thrones the whole time.
Hey, he's a guy that I do enjoy watching him. Um, and he seems like a guy I would love to hang out with.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like
He's
Rogan
cool.
seems like he's so enthusiastic just naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And it does feel like forced for Cormier a little bit. He seems like
Yeah.
he's more reserved to me. I don't know if he really is, but he seems like that to me.
Yeah, he can turn it off and on for sure. And he's a little more quiet, but when the camera's on, he kind of turns it up. I think he's gotten better though, for sure. Like in the beginning,
Mhm.
like I said, there's sometimes I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, where are we going with this? But no, he's like super cool in person. I
Mhm.
awesome. But yeah. Yeah. What do you think about Cruz as a
Dominic,
commentator? Yeah.
I despised watching him fight.
Watching him fight.
I hated the way he fought. Like he was dancing around, like doing some kind of little shuffle in there. I was like, what are you doing? But at the same time, I love the fact that it's completely different from anyone else fighting.
Yeah.
And I mean, he looked like he was a straight like a stick, just moving all over the place.
Hmm.
His commentary, not a big fan. Not a big fan.
I wish he would pump up the energy levels a bit, because
Mhm.
there's some times when he's like, like a KO will happen, and he'd be like, "Whoa, like what you were saying about Rogan,
About
but
Rogan?
except without the energy. So we'd be like, oh, and there it is. There it is.
I'm thinking about Joey now from Friends.
Oh my god.
Whoa. No. That other guy from that old show back in the day.
Which one?
What was his name? Is Joey Lawrence?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was a show back in the day, and he was like, "Whoa." No, I'm thinking Dominic Cruz trying to do that and doing it poorly.
Yeah. I think since he was a fighter, I don't know, but then you can make that same argument with Cormier. I was gonna say since he was a fighter, he's like desensitized to it and like doesn't. But Cormier, he's on the other spectrum where he's just like if you see the reaction cameras on him, I don't know if you've ever seen that, where he's just like, oh my god, like he goes crazy when there's a KO. But Dom is just like, and there it is.
Yeah, he just got hit. He's laying on the ground. He might be out.
Yeah. I really like Anik. Anik's awesome.
Who?
Anik. He's the bald. Oh, I guess they're all bald. He's the one that sounds a little more like a broadcast, like a news broadcaster.
I don't even know who that one is. He must be kind of newer.
Yeah, John Anik.
I don't know.
He basically took Goldie's place.
Oh.
Yeah. So he like presents the show in the beginning. Yeah,
I like Goldie. I liked him back in the day.
I actually did like him. He got criticized so much because he would mess up a lot, but I liked his voice. I thought it matched the show well.
Let's see. The other commentator is I had him in my head a minute ago. The British guy.
Oh,
Michael Bisping.
Oh, Bisping, yeah.
Michael Bisping. The best thing about him, and I think he's fun. I think he's very knowledgeable. But the best thing about him, do you remember when Dan Henderson knocked him out? I met Dan Henderson a week later, and I was like, I went to him and I was like, dude, thank you for shutting him up. He was like, you don't have to thank me. It was my pleasure.
Oh my god.
I laughed so hard when he said that.
That's the stuff I love. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, Hendo, gosh, he was so great. I loved watching him back in the day.
Me too.
And granted, he only had one thing, just overhand. That was about it.
But when he landed, though, holy shit.
Well, you know what? I shouldn't say that because he could take people down with his wrestling. He was a really good wrestler.
That's true. But
so did you said you have met Rhonda?
I never met her, but we did the I got to see her from afar, I guess you could say. I was a PA and they were interviewing her for our company, and I wasn't allowed to go and talk to her, but yeah, she was right there. It was cool.
I just had this bitch of it's like, you're not allowed to even look at her. Turn away.
I know. I really wish I had gone up and said hi in hindsight, but at the time I was just like, oh, it's okay. I'll just, because again, I wasn't a super fan yet,
That's true.
I was just kind of like, oh, she's a fighter. Cool. Yeah. Little did I know,
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, because I really liked her back was in Strike Force. That she was in before UFC. I think it was Strike Force.
Yeah.
Because there's two other ones competing at the same time. And then she came, I'm pretty sure Strike Force. And Dana was like, we'll never have women fighting in the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they always say she was the first. I was like, she had to fight somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. She definitely wasn't the first, but she was the first to make it more, I guess widespread.
Well, I'm at the first in UFC.
Oh, yeah.
But I was like, well, she had to fight someone in that cage. I mean, she didn't fight. Just go in there and tap herself out and win.
Yeah. Well, I guess what happened is they acquired Strikeforce.
Yeah.
So they automatically adopted all those people, all those fighters. So you're right. She definitely wasn't the first one.
But, I mean, it seemed like to me when she went from Strikeforce to UFC, it's like she got an attitude on that trip.
Well, she was the number one, the champ.
Yeah. I mean, I loved watching her fight because to me, when I watched her, she did something that I thought a lot of the male athletes don't do. It's like if they're good at something, that's it. This is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But she's great at judo, great at submissions, but she also worked on her striking a lot.
She really did.
And got it very serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was so impressive.
Is the perfect word for it. I'll say that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I still have that picture on my phone with a shin across her face.
Oh, I love seeing all that stuff in slow-mo. Oh my God. One of my favorites. Like,
okay, what is your favorite like fight thing? Because mine is, and I don't know why this always makes me laugh, when someone gets hit really hard, you see an ear wiggle.
Oh yeah. I'm
like, how does his ear wiggle when he gets punched?
Oh yeah. I like seeing when like tooth, like I think it was the McGregor lost a tooth once in one of his fights, and then it was one of his earlier fights, and then I think it was Teixeira. Is it Teixeira? I think it was Teixeira. Did Teixeira fight Gustafsson?
I remember Gustafsson fighting.
Who was that? Who? No.
Was it Gustafsson that fought George St. Pierre and just practically beat the hell out of him? And then St. Pierre got the win anyway. So I love George St. Pierre.
Yeah, GSP's cool. But no, I was thinking of it. I can't think of the one, but it was a Gustafsson fight, and he KO'd someone. My brain is telling me Teixeira, but I somehow think that's wrong. But and it was crazy. You could see the tooth come up. It would just like flew in slow-mo. It just like flew all the way up. And then like the camera like zooms out and you could see it land like from afar. It just comes back down. It's so funny.
Okay. Anytime I think of a tooth in UFC, it goes to UFC #1.
Oh, with which one?
Did you ever see UFC 1?
I mean, I've seen like highlights. I haven't seen the all the way through.
Very first fight. Football Hall of Famer Jim Brown is announcing. And he's like, this could be something people have never seen. First fight, dude gets kicked in the face and a tooth goes flying out his mouth. And Jim Brown says, there's a tooth laying right here on the desk.
So funny.
I mean, back then you could eye gouge, you could hair pull, you could do everything. Groin punches. Yeah. And you see some guy just doing this to the guy's groin.
That's hilarious.
I mean, the first fight.
He was just like going to town on the groin. Yeah.
Yes. Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber.
Oh man.
Dana's a good guy, right? Best person in the entire world.
I like him. I think
I love Dana White.
He's always been cool with me. He's been a great like president in the terms that like he'll come down and say hi to us, like not all the time, but he does occasionally, and it's chill. Like he's not arrogant like when we're talking to him. I've seen him like say some stuff before that I don't necessarily agree with sometimes, but I mean, you're always going to have disagreements with people. It's not. So but as a person, he's awesome.
I mean, from afar, he seems like he is both the boss you want to have because he's very passionate about his job. He wants it done right. But if there's a mistake, he's the boss you don't want because he's going to be all over you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, and the only reason I get that is just from when I watch him fights and when he has a fighter that just lollygags like Anderson Silva did in a couple of his fights. I mean, he will rip him a new one. And that guy was a cash cow at the time, Anderson Silva, and he was so mad at him.
Yeah, no, yeah. In terms of like being a cool dude and just, I don't know, not acting like, I don't know, he's the big S word.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Like I couldn't complain about him. Like
I mean, I would love to be able to chat with him, just talk about the sport because gosh.
Yeah, he's so cool. Like and just it's nice too that none of us were let go for, through the pandemic, which was
Yep.
a big deal in the sports industry.
Yep.
Um, yeah. And he found a way to, even though it was kind of crazy and like going to Fight Island and all that,
I was
which
about to mention that too.
like I had like my, I don't know, reluctance about it. Like I just wasn't sure if, I was like, how is this going to work? Like, I don't know. And he found a way to, make sure that there were protocols, and we had like, we were getting, not us, but not our offices, but over in Fight Island, like they were getting tested all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bubble out there. And yeah, like they managed to do it without anybody coming out with COVID. There were a couple of people that they tested and had COVID, and they obviously did not fight,
Yep.
and we had to like change everything. That was crazy too. It was like, and to this day, we get people that end up having COVID, and we have to change the whole card. It's like we have to like just know how to react and change all of the videos and stuff and put it all out. But it's cool that he figured out a way to still have run the whole event.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, that to me has got to be absolutely crazy. I mean, like someone gets COVID, or before the pandemic, someone tests positive, like for steroids or something. It's like, now we got to change a main event.
everything changes, and
I
there
mean,
was so much
I don't mean,
like, and it's
I don't like to point fingers, John Jones. I don't like to point fingers.
Oh God, yeah, trust me.
And I loved watching John Jones back in the day, and he just.
Yeah, I know.
That's all I can do for John. Is like, come on, John.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, but man, he's got family in the NFL. Oddly enough, you have an NFL connection.
I know.
Great transition, John Jones.
Nice. But yeah, I do have an NFL connection. Do you want me to get into that?
I've seen a picture of you in an empty football stadium with a couple of players on the field.
No, well, okay, yeah, but I couldn't go down to the field because of
Yeah.
COVID.
Oh, yeah. I didn't mean like you were at the field. I mean, you were,
because we were restricted and we couldn't go like there. But
yeah, if anybody's listening, she was not near the field. There was tons and tons of rows between her and the field.
Yeah. Empty rows.
And to be quite frank and honest with you, I actually cannot confirm that it was you because someone had a mask on.
Exactly. No.
You had a picture of someone that was near a football field.
Yeah, no. So when was it? Back in, I think, March, this opportunity came up. And actually, one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, he used to work for NFL Films, and he was like, hey, they're looking for freelancers right now. Would you be interested?" Because they knew that he was now working for UFC, so they were like, "Oh, can you kind of ask around and see if there's any interest?" And I was like, "I'm interested, sure, like that's cool." So yeah, they interviewed me, and they were really cool. They're really cool people. So we got along really well, and I signed up, and yeah, they were. It was kind of weird at first because we weren't sure if the season was going to happen or anything because of COVID, obviously, and everything was up in the air for a while. But yeah, eventually, they implemented their protocols too, so things were okay, and yeah, got to work some of the home games for the season, so that was awesome.
I mean, they moved an entire football team to Las Vegas so you could work with them.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if I were you, that's the story I would tell people.
I know, right? Well, what's funny is like
it would have been so bad.
I wasn't really a like football fan before this, so not that I didn't like it or anything. I just never really got into it, and yeah. So what I really liked was that I used to live in NorCal, I moved to SoCal and then now I'm in Vegas. So they kind of have that history too, you
Hmm.
know, in LA and now Vegas. So I felt that connection already. And I was like, yeah, I dig this. So I'm kind of a bandwagon fan at the moment. But, um, but yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be when you get hired for NFL films. Like you kind of have to get into it. So,
I mean, NFL films, growing up for me, they're like video packages have always been top level.
oh
I mean, going all the way back to the 80s,
yeah. Hmm.
the Sable family, is that who it was? Steve Sable and those
Sure.
guys back in the day, which I know that both the Sables have passed away,
Mhm.
but I think that's who used to do all the video packages back in the
Okay.
80s and 90s, maybe early 2000s.
See, you know more than I do, so.
I am kind of smart, you know.
But yeah, so yeah, that all was awesome, and it's nice because it's like I don't have to go anywhere. It's like right around the corner. It's literally like 15 minutes from here, so it's very convenient. It doesn't interrupt my work with UFC at all, um, and it's yeah, it's just not very intense, so that's nice. The only thing it was interrupting was my some of my channel stuff, my content. I was like, okay, well, it's NFL Films. I have to kind of, take a break with the channel, but I still try to do lives every now and then.
I mean, I'll just say this. It's really impressive to me to talk to someone that is part of $2 billion industries. I mean, think about that for a second.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
it
if
is.
I'm you, I'm not you, but if I were, that would be happening a
Oh,
lot.
thank you,
You'd be
thank
like,
you.
hey, look what I did.
I am really freaking grateful because I did
Mhm.
it was a lot of work. Obviously, like I told you, started out with
Oh yeah,
doing
yeah. I mean,
internships and stuff. Um, and it took what, like 10 years to get to this point.
yeah,
So it's not like I just snapped my fingers and it
yeah, yeah.
happened.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. It's
Mhm.
like you don't start at the top of the mountain. You start at the bottom and you work your way up. And people are like, I should be getting no, you start at the beginning like
Gotta work,
everyone else.
gotta
And you
work for it.
did. And to me, highly impressive.
Yeah,
Highly impressive.
appreciate it. And yeah, it's definitely crazy. I only thing I wish is that I was a bigger football fan, like that'd be like awesome. I am getting into it more and more, which is cool too.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like there are things like if NBA comes out here, oh, I'm all over that. Because I would love to because basketball, I used to play basketball back in the day, so
Ah,
that's always been a little more in my wheelhouse than the other sports.
mhm.
I still have a mild interest in all of them, but yeah, basketball is always my thing. So if there's ever a team that comes out here, like that'd be amazing, and I definitely would try to do
That would
something
be
with them.
cool. It's fine. I'm so much more of a college basketball fan than an NBA fan.
Cool, that's cool still.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's cool, little fella. Good job. No, I mean, for me, it's just I mean, when I watch the NBA, it's like I feel like there's one guy, he's got the ball, and that's it. He's going to shoot the ball, or dunk the ball, or turn it over. That's just like in college, like they're passing it around. They're waiting to get it to the right guy, get the right shot. I'm like,
Yeah,
come on,
I
dude.
think I think with college, it's always like, well, they're trying harder to impress,
Hmm.
so they get noticed so that they can go to the NBA.
I feel like there's less crying about fouls in college.
Hmm.
I'm not calling out LeBron. I'm not again because I don't mention names.
Never
LeBron,
helped out, so I get you. Yeah.
LeBron James. I mean, all right. I did want to ask you this too. Wonder Woman. What did you think?
Mm, I gave it like a C.
Because I wanted to talk with somebody about this that's seen it, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone else. So if you're watching, spoiler.
Okay, yeah.
I
Spoiler.
love the first about 20 minutes of the movie.
Yes.
I
Well,
thought that was great. I mean, like the part with the little girl, her doing
Yeah.
the thing through that obstacle course and everything. I thought that was awesome. The mall scene, I thought that was really cool.
I thought if they kept that tone, I thought it would be cool because at least it would be more obvious that like that's what they're really trying to do is, you
Yep.
know. But I feel like the tone was a little different like as it progressed.
Yep.
So it's like they realized like, oh, I don't know what, they were thinking, but it's like, oh, that's enough of that. Let's get into the real business. And then they kind of just stopped with the 80s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked parts about it. I loved the flying scene.
I thought that was all right. I felt like it lasted a bit long. I thought it was good.
I have to rewatch it and kind of look at it again.
I mean, again, I've only watched it once. I was actually thinking about watching it again. I was thinking about watching it today, but I got to watch something
Yeah,
else.
sometimes that happens too. Like you
Mhm.
think certain things at first, and then you watch it again, and it's like, oh, maybe I was wrong about that.
All right. The little girl that Wonder Woman saved at the beginning in the mall, the little black girl with the glasses.
Mhm.
Do we think she's going to grow up to be somebody in the universe?
I didn't
Kind of
think about
like Iron Man with Spider-Man.
that. Or or that kid from was it Iron Man 2?
Yeah. Iron Man 2 with the little kid dressed up as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at it and I was thinking, could that be Nubia in the future? Could that be maybe even? And I think this would be completely awesome. It became Riri Williams.
That would be cool.
I was like, how cool would that be?
That would be cool.
I was like, I mean, I know it's like, why would a Green Lantern character be in the Wonder Woman? It's like, yeah, they're all part of that same universe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, it's totally
I was like,
awesome.
that would be so awesome if it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, the Dark Knight reviews that you did, the comics.
Oh yeah, I'm working on reading Master Race right now.
Okay, my question is the one you said, was it The Dark Knight Strikes Again?
Uh-huh.
Is that the same as The Dark Knight 2? Because I have a run called DK2.
Oh.
And I'm thinking maybe that's the same name with a different title. And I don't know.
I don't think I have them here, but
Because I remember it's been a long time since I read that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's a different look to the book than the one I have. But yeah.
Well, that one was a 3-issue series.
Yeah, it's that one. It's the same one.
Is it? Because I remember reading part. I'm just like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, I used to have them here. I don't know what happened.
You read them and forgot to put them on your shelf.
No, I had the older prints. I think the ones you're talking about, and then
Gotcha.
I had the new one.
I just wanted to ask you that because I was like, I wonder if that's the same one that I started and never finished.
It's probably, yeah, it's that one, DK2. But they just don't name it that anymore, I guess, with the newer printings. But yeah, that one was not good.
No.
Well, okay, somebody left a comment in that video, and they kind of explained to me, which I didn't know at all, that he was trying to make it a parody, like it's kind of like a Mad magazine from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
He was going for that kind of vibe, and that's why the art was kind of the way that it was too, where it's kind of hard to look at and all that. He also was saying that the new news and the nude parts that I was guessing were just like a comment on like the digital world and how that brings us like porn and stuff. Like I was reading into it like that, but he was saying that portion is actually like it was something that one of those like Jimmy Kimmel Live type of shows, it was a running segment from one of those shows, and they would get people reading the news in the nude, and they would just like cover up, I guess, with the news, and it was supposed to be like a funny thing, but that gets totally lost in translation in current day, right? Like, because you don't know those references.
Okay, what I thought that is one of my friends, he used to work in England for a while, and they actually had a nightly news where, as the news went on, they slowly stripped as the news went on.
Oh wow.
I guess to keep your attention through the news.
I don't know.
And I was like, "Are you? Did you just find that online?" He's like, "No, man, it's on TV."
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess it was a thing back then. I don't
I
know.
guess I'm just like, why would that? Okay, it
Yeah,
does make. I will say, it would make the news a lot easier to take.
I'll say like um, get people's attention for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, that made a lot more sense to me. And I think his name was the guy that left the comment. His name was Edward, I think. But I was super grateful for that because it just gave me a lot of clarity on it. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't think I'm like crazy now. Like I might have been reading it wrong because I of these references that I just don't relate to right now.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't
See,
know.
I don't remember that at all on anything. Now I remember Conan O'Brien has some extremely odd skits back in the day.
Oh really?
Do you remember the ostrich that would bring him the news?
No.
He would forget like a card or something, and an ostrich would come running out, and an egg would come out of the ostrich. He would
What?
crack it open, and there was the card.
That's so weird. Yeah, no, I haven't really watched too many of those. Like I never did that, like the late night, live on whatever.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, we did because we didn't really have much internet back then, did we?
Exactly.
Ah, you young kids, you don't know nothing.
But yeah, so that was not the most pleasant read for me.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
understand some of it. I don't know. The art wasn't that great to look at either.
That was a big thing with me as well.
Yeah.
And I will say this also about me and comics: art is a huge thing for me.
Mhm.
I love art. I mean, I'm the guy. I'll go to the museum and look at art. So, well, I haven't in a long time because of such things. But when I see a cover, I'm just like, that is beautiful.
Me
I
too.
do hate when you have a cover that does not match the art inside. I don't like that at all.
I hate that too. It happens a lot now too with
Yeah.
all the variants that are out there. It's like the variant cover will be beautiful, and then inside it's like, okay. Unless it's like Chichetto, where I don't know, you get some beautiful like interiors. Who does like really nice ones? Bermejo, Lee Bermejo. Those are
Hmm.
nice. But anyways, yeah. So that was a letdown. DKR was like it wasn't really my cup of tea, but I definitely get like what the big deal is for that book for sure.
Hmm.
The
Oh,
one,
that is the ending.
uh-huh.
Oh, no, 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 no. I'm thinking of the Killing Joke. The
Yeah,
Killing Joke is it may be my favorite story.
yeah, that's a good one too.
I mean,
Uh, I
I
like
did
that
not.
one. That one really like I don't know, touched everything I like about comics in that.
Hmm.
Except for the fact that it's just so sad. Like it's just so hard to get through, like because it's depressing.
Yeah. Now
But
I
it's
did not like the animated movie.
I did watch that. I thought it was okay. Again, nothing. mm,
Well,
It
for
was
me, it's the first half an hour that's not even in the book.
yeah. Why did they do that?
That made no sense. I mean, I don't want to see Batman and Batgirl. I
I wonder.
don't.
I wonder why they did that.
And
That was
what was that guy's name that was robbing a bank or something that she was in? Was his name like Paris Franz or something?
I don't even remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah, I probably
Yeah,
shouldn't remember it so bad.
yeah. I only watched it the one time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was. I didn't hate it, but it was weird. Like the whole Batman Batgirl thing.
Yeah, one of my best friends, he was oh, I gotta put this up right here. Chad is in the house.
Chat.
Everything is 90.
I had to ask because I didn't know what that meant. I had to ask Kenny one time. I was like, "What does that mean?" And he explained to me the whole what's his name?
Chad?
No, the reference to that
I
where
just
it's like
call it everything is 90. I don't know.
it comes from his like favorite wrestler, I guess. I just forgot what the wrestler's name was now.
Oh, Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Raw is Jericho. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where it comes from. And Kenny explained that to me. And I was like, oh, I get it now.
I just thought it was because Chad's a pretty good dude.
Yeah, he's original.
Wow. I have just now learned something.
That was pretty cool.
It's about time I learned something after all these decades. Let's see. Anything else you want to go into? I mean, we can talk more comics, we can talk more movies, because I think UFC and football, we've pretty much covered those, unless there's more fighters and stuff you want to discuss.
I honestly can't go too deep into like what I feel about fighters and stuff.
I'm like this. I was going to say this. Talk only about positive things, not any of the negative stuff.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard because that like it comes with the territory, you know? Yeah. Like when it's fun to not like stuff, and that doesn't necessarily mean like you're bashing. It's what we were talking about earlier, where it's like all the crap talk and stuff like that. It's fun to not like certain fighters, you know what I mean? So it's really hard not to get into all that. So yeah, let's just move on to something.
Well, you can challenge any one of them to a fight.
Yeah. I will say I have been able to meet a couple people that are like really nice. Like you would think that fighters are like intimidating and stuff and like not really sociable, but everyone that I've met has been super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I met the people that used to hang out a lot in the headquarters, obviously not anymore with the pandemic and all, but Francis Ngannou he's like really, really nice. And then
he's really, really big, isn't he?
Yeah, he's so big.
Yeah.
JoJo Calderwood is a sweetheart.
Who's that?
JoJo Calderwood. She was on the later like Tough season.
Oh! I know who you're talking about now. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. From
Scotland. She's super sweet. She's out here in Vegas now. Who else have I met? I met Sarah McMahon. She was really cool.
She has been around it seemingly forever.
Yeah, she has.
And the thing of it is, I say that, and it make you go, "Oh, she's really old." She's not that old. She just seems like she's just been fighting for it for a long time.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens. Like, there's some people. Who is it? Is it Cub Swanson? There are a couple of fighters out there that have been fighting.
Cub Swanson's been around for a long time.
Yeah, they've been fighting for a while. And
I mean, BJ Penn has been fighting forever.
Is he still?
I think so, unless he just retired in the last year.
Man,
because I remember his first fight. I believe it was against Cal Uno. I think he come running out, and then they said fight. He ran over, threw a knee, caught him with a knee, hit him like 4 or 5 times on the cage, and Big John separated him. He didn't wait around for the announcement. He just ran back.
Damn.
They had to get him to come back so they can announce the winner and everything. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, BJ fan.
It's funny.
Jericho. I'm going to remember that.
There it is right there. He got done completely wrong.
I know. It's so sad.
I tell you the thing that makes me even sadder is that she didn't get inducted into the Hall of Fame until after she had passed away.
She didn't? I didn't know that.
No, she's got inducted last year.
Wow.
And the only reason she got inducted then because she was part of Degeneration X. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Undertaker. I remember Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold.
Triple H. Who else? I don't know. I think that's it. Mankind.
Yeah. Mick Foley. Yep.
And then what's the one with the? Oh, what's his name? Ultimate Warrior. Remember? Yeah. It's just vague.
Yeah, the thing about him, he got inducted into the Hall of Fame like 3 days later. He passed away.
Oh man!
He said he had a massive heart attack. I was like, gosh.
Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I haven't really followed it more recently.
It's terrible right now. It is absolutely terrible to watch. Yeah, and I still suffer through it somehow.
You gotta watch the good and the bad, right?
Yeah, and it's pretty bad.
That's how I feel with these DKR books.
I
Like you gotta
don't want to do it.
yeah, that's exactly like ask my fiance. I was complaining the whole time. I was like, you know what? I have to, because then you don't know, like, right? Hey, Airborne,
I just saw that.
what's up?
Airborne. My God, what is going on?
That's another thing we could talk about. Old school YouTubers.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you've been around for a while, no?
I haven't. I mean, Airborne. When was the last time you did a video, my man? I haven't seen you forever.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
Gosh, one of my faves. He was the first guy that I saw that really collected the rap variants.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember he saying he met some of the guys at some of the cons and got some of them signed. I was like, that is so awesome, dude.
He was collecting them as they were releasing.
Yep, as they were coming out back in the day. Mm-hmm. Gosh, who are some of the people that actually got you into maybe wanting to do videos?
Well, it was weird because I started out showing comics, but also like doing unboxings. So I started watching unboxings first, I think. So I was watching people like, I don't know if you know of them, but like Johnny Tellez was one that I watched. Who else? Nerdy Noob, like people like that.
Yeah, but I remember her.
Yeah.
Is she still doing them?
I think she is, but I don't think she's doing mystery boxes anymore.
Yeah, because I used to watch her do the mystery unboxings.
Yeah, that was cool. And yeah, I would just watch like random collectors like that, and then I started discovering that there was a whole little comic world too, and I was like, "Ooh, cool!" So because I was collecting at the time as well, and then I started watching. I think it was Captain Strange Life. Is that his name? Captain Strange Life. And then I remember the whole Mylar war with Don the comic junkie. That was fun. Hey, I learned what Mylar was, so that was good. And then what else? Who else? Great Legend, I remember.
Yeah. He's one of the guys that got me started watching his stuff.
Yeah, his lives are always so fun.
Howler Mouse is one for me.
I wouldn't watch him as much, but I did I dabbled in like a lot of different channels. Who's another one? Oh, some of those older ones that wouldn't show their faces too. Lightning something. So I don't remember the number behind it, but it was like Lightning. And then there was who else?
Yeah, it's the hardest thing for me because I got started like a little over 6 years ago now. And it's like I can't remember someone because they haven't done videos in so long.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them just stopped. A lot of them did.
Yeah.
Tim. I started watching Tim before I started TiVo. Biggie's comics.
Yep. The New York Warriors.
Yeah.
They still have their weekly auctions. Those are always fun.
Yeah. Those were like the main people that I would watch occasionally, and like then I was like, you know what? I have comics. Why don't I just show them too?
Yeah.
So and then yeah, I was showing my face for the unboxings, but I would do it kind of like the no face style for the comics.
You see you like wearing a mask.
Yeah, but that was
like wearing a Darth Vader mask with the voice coming out, so people don't know. Wait, is that a man or is that a woman? What's going on here?
But yeah, no, those were different times in the community. Yeah. Totally.
I mean, how long have you been on YouTube?
I think I'm going on 5 years in next month.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like early February, late January. Yep. So
you got to have an anniversary.
Yeah. How about you? You've been around for a while too. No?
I just did my 6-year anniversary back in November.
Cool.
I mean, I was expecting at some point you'd say, "Yeah, I used to watch the Simply Incredible podcast."
Of course. Well, no, I found you a little later.
She's like, "I have no idea who that person is."
No, I found you like I want to say like
she's
a year or two later.
She's like, you remember a few weeks ago when we did that podcast with Puff? That's exactly.
No. I knew it before that.
It's some nerd that can't talk and he sounds like a redneck.
No.
Honest truth, that was the first thing I thought of when I first edited one of my videos. I was like, whose voice is that? It's not mine.
That's so funny. Oh, that's one thing I hate is like going back to my old videos. I'm like, oh, no.
Hey, Perry's Comics is here. Hello, Perry. Look at that. Simplify. That's one of the first channels.
I don't even know who that is. Simplify.
Oh man, gosh, so much fun.
Who did you watch?
I remember when it wasn't that many people on, and then it blew up for a while, and then it kind of come down a while. Now it's blowing back up again.
Oh, another one that I watched was Omega Shinrikyo.
Oh, I remember Omega. I don't remember their full name. I just remember Omega.
Omega, yeah, that's what everyone called them. Omega.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, there were a lot of them that just they wouldn't ever show their face, so it was kind of hard to like remember who was who. Yeah.
I remember. It's funny. It feels like to me, I've been on so long. I kind of got started. Wasn't very many people on. Then we went through the comic book variant era.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was about a 2-year era where every book had 50 variants.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars, when Star Wars 1 came out, I think there's well over 100 variants of that one. And then I feel like that's kind of calmed down. It's still a lot of variants, but it's calmed down. And now we're in like a what's hot this week era.
You know what I think it is? It's not so much their eras because there's controversy. Hey, Tito.
That's somebody who I used to watch a bunch too. Still do when he punts out his videos.
Yes, I like his hauls a lot. But yeah, I think those eras come with like the controversy. That's why we remember them as phases. Because yeah, there were a bunch of people that like were hating on variants for a while. Now there's a bunch of people hating on spec, and then you get like people kind of conflicting views.
I'm a spec hater.
Yeah, I'm kind of open to everything. Like, I don't know. I welcome it all because at the end of the day, it just helps the industry. So at least in my opinion, but
yeah. The variants, I love variants. I don't like the prices on a lot of them, but for me, more art means more art for me.
Thank you.
That's my biggest thing.
Same.
I mean, that means like Harley Quinn #1, I can get 50 different covers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do I need them? No. Am I getting them? I'm probably going to try to get a bunch of them.
And that's the thing. You could always just not, if you really don't like the idea, just don't get it, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, the spec market, though, it kills me because it just seems like someone goes, hey, I heard Omega Red's going to be in something.
It's getting out of hand for sure. Like,
I mean, that's
you know what bugs me though? Okay, this is what bugs me. I'm getting on my soapbox.
All right, Stan.
What bugs me is when people are like going and getting hauls and they just know it's a key, but they don't even know what the key is. And they just are like showing it and they're like, oh, this was I don't remember, but it's a key. And it's like, what? Why did you get it then? Are you just gonna flip it? Like, it's cool if that's what you're gonna do. Just like tell us that. Like,
you're calling me out there because sometimes as I'm talking about it, I literally forget what the key is. 10 minutes earlier, I remembered.
See, okay, that's a little different. But I think a lot of times it's just people like they don't really care about the actual characters or the actual story. They're just buying it because of comic. Ooh, nice.
San Diego Comic-Con numbered to 750.
Heck yeah.
From 1993.
Well, that's cool.
Good luck.
But yeah. That's my rant for the day.
I mean, for me, it's like it's the I feel like now there's so many comic book of the month club. I remember in June or July, there was that Batman Superman book had the first that they said maybe the first appearance of Batman Beyond, but we don't know for sure because it's not even the same name.
Mm-hmm.
That book went from dollar bins, selling for over $70. As far as I know, it's probably back in dollar bins again.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, they don't even mention him by name. He said, well, the writer one time said it was supposed to be him.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, Omega Red. Omega Red, I think, is a great character in that Jim Lee X-Men stuff. Yeah. It should be more than dollar bin stuff, but for years it's been dollar bin stuff. Oh, someone said they may or may not have heard that he's in a cell in near a character in a movie.
Yeah, that's crazy. That stuff's crazy. And that's why I say, like, you should buy what you like. A lot of people say that, but I'm one of them, is like, just buy what you like. You like Harley, you know Harley, and you like the covers, you like the artwork. That's cool. I don't hate on people cover grabbing. Cover grab all day long, as long as you like what you're grabbing and you know what you're grabbing, right?
Yeah. Okay, a cover that came out a few weeks ago, that's Spider-Man 55 cover. Mm-hmm. Love that cover.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
I don't have an LCS, so I haven't gotten new books in over a year, but I might try to find that one because I think that is gorgeous.
That's so funny that you mentioned that because I was literally just thinking that too. Like last night, I was like, oh, seeing a picture of it, I'm like, that is pretty gorgeous. I really
Did you see the second printing?
The red one?
Yeah.
Looks so cool. It reminds, you know what it reminds me of? When Batgirl, was it 23? Shot up.
Yep.
Again,
Josh Middleton.
Yeah. Beautiful covers.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten that one.
JoJo. Those who do haul videos just so it can be a preview or commercial for an upcoming auction. That is what irks me. Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. I'm okay with just, all I need is transparency. So like, if you actually say like, oh, honestly, I don't really know about these books very much, but I am doing an auction. These are going to be for sale. Take a look. Like, okay. But if you're showing it as a haul and you're kind of being misleading about the fact that that's your haul and you're excited that you have these books that you got for cheap, like that's a little misleading, right? Like, and then you go and sell them, don't make it seem like that's your haul and you're proud of it. Like, just say like, oh, I'm going to sell these. So just letting you guys take a look,
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on a soapbox that Kingdom Tito had one time. And I think he may still agree with this. I'm not sure. Tito, if you agree with this, say so. If you disagree with this now, say so. But he was talking about auctions, how you have one person showing a book. Let's say, like, I'm showing this book, I'm selling it, and you're over there being the hype man. That's the greatest book I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. How are you selling that book? Why would you sell that?
Oh my God. Yeah, that happens a lot. I see that.
And I'm just like, dude.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's gone well over eBay prices. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, like I'm cool with auctions. Like it's all up to people if they want to buy, if they want to, how much they bid. Like that's great. That some of the prices I've seen are crazy, but that's all up to them, right? Like if that's what they want to do with their money, that's what they do.
All right.
Fine.
Okay,
but,
good. I just wanted to be sure Tito still agree with that. Yes, he does.
Yeah. The hype man. Yeah, I definitely have seen that. And
it's like a concert.
Like I totally see through that, but some people don't, and it's a shame. But I mean,
I can type in 4 letters. I can go find something that says what it's selling for. EBAY. Click and it'll get right to eBay, and I can just type it in and go, oh yeah, it's maxing out at about yay. Why are they? What? Somebody's still bidding on it?
Yep. And it's important to have limits for yourself, right? Like,
yeah, I'm bad at that. So bad. If I'm at a convention, oh my gosh, my brain gets left at home.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like, at least for me, if I know I'm going to a con, I'm going to be a little bit more liberal, like with what I'm spending on, because I'm at a con, it's not every day I'm at a con. So it's a little different, I think. But when it comes to like the weekly, daily auctions or whatever, it's like, all right, you gotta rein it in a little bit, Yeah.
And then there's always the ones that are like, man, that's all it went for. I'm like, I'm adding in the $15 for shipping.
Yeah.
It's not a deal anymore.
That's totally cute. And that's goes with anything too. You're buying online, period. Like you always
Yeah.
have to
Oh
consider
yeah.
your
Oh, eBay, I will always add in shipping. It's like how much it's going to cost me
and
after
now
shipping.
with the taxes now too on eBay, it's like,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it depends on where you are. Depends on how much your tax is.
Yep.
Like I
So
live in Virginia. We're at like 5.2% or something like that.
I think we're at something similar. I don't know. Cons, yeah. I feel big, right? Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, and I was one of my friends. He was going to a con and buying stuff. He was going to sell it, and I was like, I'm just curious about this one little thing. He's like, man, I got great deals on these. Just one little question: did you take into account your gas money getting here, your food you ate while you were there? You know what? I'll take that out because you were going to eat anyway. So I'll take the food out of it. Then the money you had to pay to get into the con. Oh, the hotel you were at.
Mhm.
It was like, no,
So
that stuff don't count. Like,
it's like, well, were you gonna just do this on a regular day? Like, I don't think so.
you know, I mean, I totally understand that. You know, because when I'm at a con, I'm happy go lucky at cons.
Yeah, me too. I love it. It's like my playground.
Mhm.
I go to town and just I don't know.
Okay.
I mean I also look for a deal there. I'm not saying I pay any price either, but yeah, sometimes it can be tempting to just like spend, obviously people have a lot of problems with that.
Oh, I tell you,
Um
the greatest thing I ever saw at a con was at San Diego. When you, it was like right at one of the doors. What's it called? Metropolis Comics.
I don't know.
It's got it. Basically, they had every Grail imaginable in the cases right there. I mean,
Mhm.
you got like Action Comics one, Amazing Fantasies,
Oh, yes, yes, I know what
and
you're
I'm
talking.
just like, huh.
It was, yeah. It's weird too, because like when I went to that booth, nobody was there, and
Yeah,
that's
it
what
was
was
never
fun. Like
anybody there.
I'm like, this is like original artwork right here, and this is like you got freaking crazy keys in that like shelf thing, and it's like, oh my god, this is nuts. I'm like going crazy over here, and there's like no line to see it at all.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I
ah.
mean, you had like the one that had like the bigger case had a bunch of shelves in it,
Yeah.
and then you had the ones like a counter that had like
That's all
three.
that stuff is. Are you talking about the one I'm thinking is the place that does auctions? Was it
Yeah,
Heritage?
yeah,
Yeah, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because he
And
he had like the booth. He's got like a counter there. It had like three, like a shelf had a glass cabinet. It had
yes.
like three shelves, and
Yeah.
then behind him he had like full size shelvings.
Yeah.
It had a
I
bunch of shelves in it. I mean, you had your first Hulk, your first Iron Man, your first Wonder Woman, first Spider Man, first Batman. I mean, it's like every Grail, and I'm just like,
yeah, and no one's there. And I'm
I'm
just
like,
like,
your cheap cabinet over here has got more value than everything I've ever owned in my life.
exactly. It's so crazy.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's called Metropolis Comics or something like that.
God. But yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I'm just there drooling too. I'm just like, oh my god. That's what's shocking is like, how is nobody aware? Like, you guys are all chasing the stuff that came after this, and here we have the actual like original thing, and nobody's here.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and gosh, man, I mean, I kind of felt bad. I just want to sit there because I'm like, I'm just loitering here. I can't buy anything
I
here.
know I was like videoing like there, and
Yeah,
I felt kind of bad because I was there for like 10 minutes just doing that.
yeah. I
Uh,
was talking to him because one of the books I was looking for was Caliber Presents #1,
mhm.
the first Crow,
The
and
first,
then the first run of James O'Barr's Crow stuff. And he's like, you know what? I don't have any of those. Like,
dang,
you ain't got nothing then.
I know.
First Iron Man. Who wants that book?
Like I'm walking away.
It was funny at that entire show, San Diego Comic Con. Only one person had the Crow #1,
Oh my god,
and he had it way too expensive.
that's insane.
Or what was your favorite artist that you've met at the shows?
Ooh, that's a toughie. So, um, hmm.
Wow, I just thought about it. I can't remember the lady's name.
Artist or creator, period?
Artist, writer. I mean, sorry.
So I met at actually Torpedo Comics, which is funny because like I usually don't really go to Torpedo Comics because it's just not a place that I could really go hunting because their prices are so ridiculous. But their signings are great. They have a great program for that. So I love going for the signings. And somebody I met there, Chris Claremont, and he was really cool. We were like talking about Star Wars the whole time, and I felt kind of bad because there's a little line, but
Yep.
like he kept wanting to talk, so I was just like, "Well, I'm not gonna just walk away either."
Okay.
And yeah, he was super cool. And
I've got my Claremont story, but go ahead.
well, let me continue because like before that, I was surprised because at the Las Vegas con, I remember going to a panel and he was speaking and it was so weird. Like he was being kind of rude to some of the people that were asking questions and I didn't understand what was going on. Like he was just not in a good mood. And so when I went to go meet him at Torpedo, I was expecting that kind of like attitude, but he was totally different. Like I guess he was just in such a great mood, but I don't know.
Wow. Wow.
Drastic though. Drastic.
When I met him, I'm in line. I'm like fifth in line. One of my friends is like third in line. So my friend gets up there, and I mean, he like these two ladies were sitting there, and he talked to them for a good 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next person comes up,
Mm-hmm.
another 10-minute talk. I'm like,
He loves to talk.
oh my gosh. My friend gets up there. He hands him the book. He looks at the book, puts it down, opens it up, reads the entire book. I'm back there thinking, Jesus, you wrote the book. You know what's in it.
Oh my god.
Read the entire book.
Oh my god. That's so
Okay,
funny.
then the next person, I'm next in line now. He's talking to this guy. I get up there, I'm like, hey man, how's it going? And he signs the book, puts it to the side, and look next.
What? No. Ah,
Seriously? I just want to talk about X-Men for 2 minutes, dude.
I'm so sorry. That's
Come on. The Dark Phoenix saga, man. Come on.
I feel like he's hit or miss then because yeah, that first time he was not in a good mood and it was just showing and he was being kind of rude. And then this time he was just super happy go lucky. I think it's because Torpedo really treats them well when they go there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's a talker, he is for sure.
Yeah, the one like that for me is also Neil Adams.
I never met. Oh wait, yeah, I did. He,
Like, yeah, me and Neil, we're besties. I didn't want to say nothing. Hey, the
yeah,
first time I met him, I mean, we sat there and talked for about 5 minutes. No one would go to his table. The next year, I found out why, because he's either
he's hit or
like
miss.
the nicest person or just hates everything in life.
Well, when I went, I don't know why I just blanked on this, but yeah, I did go, and he was a little sarcastic. Like he made a joke that was just didn't really land well, but he was fine. Like he didn't say anything other than that, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate him.
Yeah. To me, it's like, we all have good days, we all have bad days. So,
That's what people don't get. Like, you should be professional, definitely, but
mm-hmm.
there for hours, and sometimes they don't eat, and like, I don't want to make excuses for them, but it's hard. It's not just like easy to be having to chat it up with every single person that comes.
Yeah. So I guess, how many times can you go, yeah, that Batman 252. Yes, I did that. It was great. Whoopie-doo.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 251. This thing is 251.
Yeah.
With that Joker cover with the cards.
251, yeah.
Yeah, 251.
That's what I had signed. I don't know where it is. It's downstairs, actually. But
I don't even own the book. Doggone it.
I
but in San Diego, I met Leah Hernandez.
I don't know her.
She done Teen Titans Go art stuff.
Cool.
And only reason I stopped there the first year is one of my friends, his son loves Teen Titans Go, which I do too. I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
And so, she has the books and she does a little sketch inside for him. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get one too, just because. And me and her, we start talking. We talked for like 10 minutes, and she's just sweet as can be.
That's awesome.
Next year I come because I mentioned I had a kidney transplant, and she actually was like, "Yeah, so how's the kidney doing?" I'm like, "How do you remember that?"
Wow.
And
That's impressive.
she did a little picture inside of it, and I told her because I guess this is how I told her my kidney's name is Holly because my
Oh.
last name is Wood, so it's Little Hollywood.
Oh wow.
And she did a little sketch inside
That's,
and put a little kidney on it.
that's
I
awesome.
was like, that's so awesome. So the third year I went back, I went over and talked to her again, and it's just like that's kind of like my ritual. Is
Mm-hmm.
every year she's the first booth, the first table right beside the Funko display. So like every year now, when I go back, I'm like, I gotta go see Leah.
That's cool. So you're what is it? Teen Titans Go fan, right?
Oh yeah.
I have a signature, a signed photo. I think I'm going to send it to you.
Oh.
So it's a signed photo of, I think, was it one of the characters? I can't remember anymore, but one of them on there. But I never watched the show, so it's kind of wasted on me. So I think I'm going to send it to you.
You need to watch the show. It's hilarious. I mean, the original one was more anime-ish,
Uh-huh.
and it's really, really good. A little bit more serious, but the later one is absolutely hilarious. The Teen Titans Go movie, it's very juvenile comedy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of burp and fart jokes. I mean, obviously, I'm going to like that. I'm a dork.
That's funny.
And I did meet the guy that voices Beast Boy at San Diego last year.
I think it was Beast Boy, the signature. Now that you mention it.
Yeah. It's funny. He had a little dog with him. He was like 15 minutes late. He had this tiny little dog.
That's so cool. But yeah.
Did you meet any of the celebrities at San Diego?
I met Bruce Campbell.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually got into that one miraculously because you know how you got to like sign up for them and stuff.
Oh, I'm not even talking about there. I'm talking about on that top level where you get your bag.
Yeah.
Right back there's a bunch of tables and they have a lot of celebrities that signs there.
Really? I never even knew that.
Yeah, I met Helen Slater there. She was Supergirl.
Oh,
Lee Merriweather,
that's cool.
the old Catwoman back in the day.
Yes, I met her out here.
Met her there. There's like a few other celebrities there. You gotta pay for their signatures and stuff and photos with them. But I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, heck yeah. No, I'll definitely look into that next year.
And no, just power.
Yeah, so that's cool. But yeah, Bruce Campbell was really cool. But yeah, that was a pain in the neck to get into that. So, but yeah, he's really nice. He's really, really nice.
Where was that at?
It's one of those things where you had to like sign up in the like lotteries, and then
like before you go to the con.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then if you're in or not. And
Yeah.
the stupid part about it, oh, now I know what you're saying. Okay, because that's where he was posted up. You're talking about where it looks like you're in a tent or something. Like it's all white, where like the book signings are. Is that where you're talking about?
Where are the book signings at? I mean, where if you get there early, huh?
It's all white in there. It's like a bunch of white. Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about. So we had to sign up to meet Bruce Campbell. And then I was a little annoyed because you had to be there like at 8 a.m. So that means like basically leaving where you're staying at like 6 a.m. And this is also why I don't do panels out there, because you got to do worse than that. But
yeah, I'm not sleeping on the ground overnight.
yeah. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll go to the 8 o'clock thing. But you had to get like the wristband. You had to make sure you were there and show them your documentation and all that. And it was all super formal. And then at some point, they were just letting anybody like come in to get the signatures. And I'm like, well, why did I have to wake up to get a wristband? So I was very bitter. But now I know that I don't necessarily have to do that as long as I know what the schedule is.
I think the only panel I've gone to was the last 2 years. I went to the WWE Mattel ones.
Oh,
where they had the action figures.
yeah.
And And I'm like, hey, I get to see some of the WWE guys, and I get to sit down for a little bit
Yeah,
in a chair.
true. Yes. Rest is a high commodity there.
Yes, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
But oh well, gosh, I just realized we've been on 2 hours now. You want to shut it down?
Sure.
Thank you so much for taking the time to be on.
Of course, like this was awesome. This is what I like. I told you earlier, but like I just like kind of chatting with people, getting to know them here in the community. Like I don't get me wrong, I like all the like comic news shows and spec sure and all that. But what I really like is just kind of sitting down with people and just, chatting it up. And
No, that's how I am too.
I mean,
Even though I do have my conspiracy podcast, which really ends up being 45 minutes of conspiracies and an hour and 15 minutes of just wherever it goes.
That's the best. I love that.
I told the guys we're going to change it because we're actually talking to each other like if you're backstage just chatting before the podcast or something. It's like that's really a better podcast than the conspiracies podcast.
The actual podcast. That's funny.
And they're like, "No, man, keep conspiracy." I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I was just gonna call it backstage before the podcast.
Yeah, I always like things go off the rails. You never know what you're gonna end up talking about, and
it's a train wreck. Just a train wreck.
Fun. That's fun.
But
thanks for having me on. This was awesome.
It was a blast. Again, I hope you had just half the fun I did because talking about these different things, I love it.
Yeah, and again, it's like sometimes not everybody in the community is into like UFC or certain things, and it's like really cool to just chat it up with someone that actually cares about those things too.
Yeah. Now I can really talk a long time about the MMA from like the late '90s or UFC of late '90s to about 2015. That's when my knowledge is really good. But the last 5 years, it's a little bit more sparse.
Yeah. Well, I guess a lot of the bigger stars are kind of on their way out.
Yeah.
When you think about it. So it makes sense.
And the funny thing is, I'm like, I don't even know who the champions are in some of the divisions now. Except Stipe. I love Stipe.
Stipe, yeah, he's funny.
Stipe Miocic.
Yeah.
I think I became a fan of him just because his name was Stipe.
Yeah. For real.
All right, I keep rambling. I'm sorry. That's what I do.
No, it's all good. I'm the same way.
Okay. All right. We're going to shut it down now.
Right.
Thank you again so much. And that's all we got for tonight. Where can they find you too? Social media.
I'm at Flix and Comix here on YouTube, but also on Instagram and on Twitter. I don't really use Twitter as much, but I'm still on there. But yeah, I don't really have a schedule. So a lot of my stuff just goes up when it goes up. And I do tend to stream though on Sunday nights, but I can't make any promises.
So follow her and click that bell icon so you'll know when she's on.
Yeah.
That's all we got. And you guys have an incredible day.